Hi, it's Dr. Jeffrey Mark. Today, I'd like to talk to you about the microbiome and aging. This is taking a look at your gut and looking at what helps with healthy aging and how this involves your microbiome as well. We know that the gut changes with age, and it doesn't only affect how we handle diseases or digestive diseases, but it also adapts to the aging process itself. So if you've noticed that you've had a few more gray hairs, that you've had a little bit of a slowing in your step, or maybe forgetting a few things at times, you might have some signs that you might have some early aging, and things become less efficient, especially your digestive system. People that are over age 50, they may report more problems with diarrhea or bloating, and they just feel that their regularity is not as good as it was before. The aging process is complex, and we screen for colorectal cancer now over age 45. We used to traditionally screen after age 50. We also know that there's an association with Crohn's disease and inflammatory bowel disease in the population around 50 as well. So there seems to be a story of inflammation and weakened immune system, and people are not having as good a diet as well, with possibility of decreased physical activity. And that seems to be all happening about the same time over age 50. So there age-related changes in the microbiome that occur. The microbiome is about 100 trillion microbes in the gut, which makes up the bacteria, fungi, and viruses. And this helps maintain an environment where the gut cells are either in a neutral position or in an inflammatory state. And this, if there's an inflammatory state, this will influence the aging process. If there's inflammation in the GI tract, then there's a higher risk of autoimmune disease, including multiple sclerosis and inflammatory bowel disease. Inflammation happens more frequently as we get older, and the healthy gut microbiota that normally helps strengthen the gut mucosal barrier can be damaged either by toxins or more harmful bacteria that can come from the environment, or changes if we take antibiotics. The diversity can also be affected as well. And this diversity can result in less types of bacteria like lactobacillus that make short chain fatty acids. And it's the short chain fatty acids, such as butyrate, that help maintain the lining of the intestines. As we age, there is this intestinal permeability issue or leaky gut issue that is more common, and that's what causes this inflammatory response as well. So it's a little bit of a chicken the egg. If you have inflammation from changes in the microbiota, then you can have this leakiness in the intestines, and this leakiness in the intestines or leaky gut could cause more antigens or bacteria or partially digested food particles to get through, and then you can form antibodies against these. And some of these antibodies can resemble that of the thyroid, and then you'll have thyroid disease or autoimmune thyroid disease or thyroiditis. If they resemble that of the joints, you can have arthritis type symptoms. If they resemble your DNA, you can have autoimmune antibodies against DNA or lupus type symptoms. So all these things are more likely as we get older. So one of the things that scientists have been looking at is these germ-free mice. And we find that these germ-free mice, they don't really develop inflammation. And they look younger, and especially for their age. So normally a 2-year-old mouse is pretty old, but if they are germ-free, they don't seem to have as much aging going on. We know that the gut microbiota also play a role in Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, and dementia. So it's very important that we maintain a healthy microbiota and microbiome so that there's less inflammation, less intestinal permeability, and decreasing the chance of dementia, Alzheimer's, or Parkinson's. So in mice that are in these germ-free systems, they do have less cognitive issues. So there does seem to show that this inflammation or inflammatory process is a bad thing to have going on in your gut and in your body. So starting about age 3 or 4, it seems that the microbiome seems stable. And it shifts around age 50 or 60 years old, where there seems to be a divergent pathway between those that remain healthy and those that get sick or have disease. So the microbiomes of more frail, older adults, especially that they've studied in long-term care facilities, tend to be much less diverse, and they have fewer beneficial microbes. These people also have more fragility, they have more gastrointestinal disease, and have other systemic diseases such as inflammatory bowel disease, autoimmune disease, and type 2 diabetes. When they look at the microbiomes of the centurions, people that live to 100 years old, they found that more beneficial microbes are present in these healthier elderly populations. And they did show that the extremely long-lived individuals, especially those centurions in Italy, China, and Korea, they have their gut microbiomes that don't resemble anything the average adult's microbiome. So they also don't look like the microbiomes of those that are the frail individuals that were studied in the long-term care facilities. So it does suggest that the microbiome does change as we age, especially over age 50 to 60. And those that maintain a diversity maintain better health. And also, if they have higher beneficial types of bacteria. In a recent study, February of 2021, in the journal Nature Metabolism, and determined that starting around age 40 or 50, people's microbiome starts to change. So there's a unique fingerprint in the microbiome, of course, that's unique to the individuals, but they do see these changes starting to occur around 40 to 50 years of age, and they continue to increase well into the 80s as we age. So it seems that the microbiome continues to change and adapt with aging, and it influences how well we age. People who are healthy and older and remain independent and have better physical function, they can walk faster, they perceive their health as excellent, and they're able to function better mentally. They seem to have a wide diversity, and they're divergent in terms of their microbiome compared to those that are not perceived as healthier. They also measured cholesterol and vitamin D levels, and of course they were higher and more in the normal range. It seems that once you get into this trajectory of a healthier, diverse microbiome, that they tend to live longer, well into the 80s and 90s. So that's an interesting pattern that they see, that there's health in these people that live to in the hundreds, and their diversity and the composition of their microbiome. There are studies that look at what older people eat and what kind of physical activities they do, and ongoing studies to see how this influences their microbiome. And in mice, they looked at these things as well. There are ongoing studies in humans. In mice, they looked at two populations in two different cages. In one cage, it was found that mice looked significantly healthier at age 2, which is an old mouse, versus those that were in a second cage that didn't look as healthy. And mice have this unusual property of eating their own stool. And so they kind of recultivate their own microbiome among themselves in a cage. And these two populations of caged mice were actually from the same parents, so they're actually siblings. And because of that, you can compare the two genetically, and basically there were no significant differences genetically, but the main difference was in their microbiome. The healthier group continued to maintain and fed and breed compared to the other cage. So it does, again, indicate that there seems to be a pattern of diversity and better microbiome leading to health and longevity. So there are many things that influence aging in the gut. That includes physical activity. We recently did a blog on exercise, and exercise is one of the ways that we can fight this inflammation, and one of the most effective ways of reducing inflammation and improving the health of the gut microbiome. Fiber-rich foods such as fruits and vegetables and the Mediterranean diet also help to shift the balance of the microbiome into a healthier state. The Mediterranean diet seems to be the most beneficial in terms of helping metabolism and for cognitive benefits as well, and also to decrease the risk of diabetes and heart disease. Probiotics can also help fortify and to modify the microbiome. You want to have beneficial bacteria, more lactobacillus, the lactis species. And we have several probiotic brands that we've formulated, Probio 350 and Probio Plus, very high amounts of beneficial bacteria. The Probio 350 has 18 strains and 350 billion colony forming units of specific Bifidobacter and Lactobacillus species. The Probio Plus has at least 6 strains and prebiotic as well that helps support and maintain lactobacillus. Ongoing probiotic use is still very early in the research process, and they're looking at several next generation probiotics that will help against leaky gut or intestinal permeability and to fight off harmful bacteria, and also to be able to enhance and make the immune system more efficient and more precise into not attacking the body or having autoimmune disease, but more specifically against disease and defense. So researchers are looking at different types of microbes as well. They're looking at DNA sequencing, and they're looking at how we can continue to adapt and modify the gut microbiome to make the diversity better and to have a more robust and resilient microbiome so that it resists environmental challenges such as antibiotics, toxins, and even our own internal stress. It looks like the traditional advice of eating healthy and exercise not just only benefits our bodies, but it benefits the microbiome. And the microbiome in turn will allow us to have decreased inflammation, modify our immune system in a positive way and make it more selective, and allow us to have more resiliency and a longer life. In the realm of probiotics, it's not just the probiotics, but some forms of probiotics, but the prebiotics play a large role as well. For example, Palm BioX is an extract with pomegranate and citrus, and it promotes lactobacillus, which will make more short-chain fatty acids, including butyrate, which is the preferred fuel and a calming nutrient for the large intestines, which decreases inflammation and attracts other types of bacteria to decrease inflammation. Probio Rainbow has polyphenols, which serve to decrease inflammation, make the blood vessel linings more supple, and also will enhance and attract lactobacillus bacteria, which will produce short-chain fatty acids, including butyrate, and further decrease inflammation. So for more information on Probio 350, Probio Plus, Probio 100, Probio 30 SB, and prebiotics such as Probio Rainbow, Palm BioX, click on the corresponding links below. So if you want to live longer, you want to have a healthier microbiome. So to get a healthier microbiome, you want to exercise, you want to eat right, and you want to fortify your microbiome with the right probiotics. For more information on AFH probiotics and prebiotics or other AFH supplements or gut microbiome restoration program, please email info@jeffreymarkmd.com, visit www.allfunctionalhealth.com, or call area code 925-736-8228. Take care and stay healthy.